Visiti morta sale, prendi questo mio strale.
I'm Merlin Crave, and I'm Associate Professor at Sir Zelman Cowen School of Music, and I coordinate the Classical Voice program. Improvisation is something that, interestingly, I believe belongs in varying degrees of form to many pieces of music. I actually have a philosophy that when one sings the same piece over a period of years, it morphs and changes, even though classical music is very structured. But there are degrees of interpretation that alter and change, and to me, that's improvisation of a very subtle nature. Then there are pieces like, if we look at the Baroque period, the performance practice thought and philosophy was that when there was a da capo or a repetition, that the performer improvises. It was actually used as a device to show off your vocal prowess, but it is still, to this day, accepted performance practice. Perhaps less show-offy, but always embellishing a piece on the repetitions. And I can give you an example of one of my favourite pieces, which is Amarelli by Caccini. And of course, the score that I work from is a fully realised score. The original would have just been a bass line and maybe not even chords, just a bass line and the vocal line, and the performers would have worked it out from that. These days we have the luxury of very many editions of realised scores, and so you have a piano score plus the vocal line already there. But what I do as a performer and encourage my students to do is to then ornament in the repetitions. Now, there are a lot of things one can do. You can read treatises on ornamentation. You can do simple things like add trills, trillos. You can invert intervals. You can add passing notes. You can dot where it was smooth, smooth where it was dotted, etc., etc. So there's just all sorts of things one can do. So I'll just show you what the playing is like. So the start of Amarelli is Amarelli mia bella, for people who don't know the song. And then in the next section it goes Credilo pur, isiti morta sale, prendi questo mio strale, aprimi il petto e vedrai scritto il cuore. That's the plain version. When I come back to the repetition, I do Credilo pur, visiti morta sale, prendi questo mio strale, aprimi il petto e vedrai scritto il cuore, etc. So the other piece that I thought I would like to show and illustrate today is called Die Landschaft in meine Stimme, and it was written in 1980, and it's by Klaus H. Stamer. And Die Landschaft in meine Stimme means the landscape in my voice. And as you can see from looking at the very beautiful pictorial score, you could in actual fact frame it and put it on your wall. Because it is a landscape, but the landscape is actually formed out of letters of the alphabet and sounds that one then interprets. Now, in actual fact, in his instructions, he says it can be done by a whole choir, or it can be done by one voice, or it can be done by however many voices you want. So it's super, super flexible. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's entirely up to the performer how you do it. So this is in fact really, truly improvisation. So you'll see from the beginning, if I just do a little bit of it for you, that it starts off with
il core